Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video we are going to be Cerakoting the brakes here, as you can see, and I'm going to be giving you the guide to Cerakoting. We're going to be using the oven cook-on coating, burnt bronze here. I'm sure you've seen a bunch of people use this before. Already used half of it on some of the engine cases, which you guys have probably seen. I'll throw up a picture of them right here. But anyway, we got these brakes here and they're almost ready for Cerakote. I got them sandblasted, as you can probably tell, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you got a blaster, you know how to use it. If you don't, then you'll probably have to go and get one or have someone do it for you. But anyway, first off, we got to get these pistons out of these calipers here. As you can see, we already got them started on their way out, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Then we got to just start the process of getting these ready for Cerakote. So let's get started. Alright, so to get these pistons out of the calipers, we're using compressed air, and you're just going to go in where the banjo bolt would be, and hopefully they pop out. We already got this one moving, so it should come out the rest of the way. And you just got to leave it with Alright guys, I got the brakes hung and a couple other parts. I got the rear brake master cylinder clevis, the front brake line plastic holder, I don't know what you want to call that, but we also got the Cerakote kickstand. This bike had an old Cerakote kickstand and we welded it to get it built upright so it's not going to hit the side plate. So we needed to paint it with something, so might as well Cerakote it. So I'm gonna put this stuff into the oven here, and I'm gonna give it 45 minutes at 375 degrees so that any of the oil will bake out of the parts. Then I'll soak it in acetone and see if any oil comes out, and then I might bake it again just to be extra sure, and then we can paint it. Alright guys, I got 3 of the parts we're doing here cooled down enough to go in the acetone. So I got the kickstand piece, and then I gotta take the lid off of this other one. And it's still a little hot, as you guys probably can't see, but the acetone's almost bubbling around that part. And smaller ones are going in a smaller tank of acetone. And I'll get the big ones in here once they're cooled down. Alright guys, here are the other 2, front brake caliper and the rear brake caliper. And they're still a little hot for this stuff too, but it'll cool them down quick. Sizzling on this one. You guys will probably be able to see it now. I'll zoom into the video, but there's some bubbles around these parts. But anyway, I'm gonna let these guys sit in the acetone for approximately 30 minutes. And they won't fully fit in this container I got right now, this paint tray. So I'll flip them every 5 minutes or so they get soaked pretty good. After this, and when I'm flipping them, I'm gonna break out some clean gloves to flip them. And then after this, you wanna be 100% clean gloves when touching these, just so I don't get any contamination on it for the Cerakote. And once these guys are nice and clean, I'll throw them back on that rack, back into the oven for another half hour in the oven or so, 20 minutes to a half hour to let them gas out again, just in case anything else comes out with the acetone. I don't think it should. And then we can spray these things up, and I'll try to get these done today. It's about 3:30 right now, so we'll see how it goes. So I'll get these finished in the acetone, and I'll show you guys when I'm putting them back in the oven. Alright guys, the parts are out of the acetone and ready for another bake in the oven. So I'm gonna hit them at 375 again for 25 minutes, and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, we got this baked again and it's cooled down, and we're getting close here. We got to put some tape on it, and we're gonna try and use just some painter's tape, and I'm gonna peel it off before it goes in the oven, because this stuff will burn. But the high heat tape stuff is really hard to deal with. If you've ever used it, you know what it's like. It just loves to curl, and it's just hard to work with. It sticks to you, doesn't stick to the part, and curls up. So we're gonna try and get this here, and then once we get it painted, I'll hold it and I'll poke it with a pick and try and peel it up without touching anything. It'll be a little bit of a challenge, but hopefully not as much of a challenge as trying to do it with the high heat tape. Alright, that's almost it for this first piece. Get it trimmed up a little bit. And I think that'll do it. Hopefully I can peel that off once we spray it. I think I should be able to. But still, this tape job is a challenge. This other piece is going to be even harder. Alright guys, I think that'll do it for the tape job. It's not going to be the best tape job, you know, because there's going to be a couple little spots here and there with a sharp edge. Alright, I think that'll do it. Let's get this stuff painted up. Alright guys, so the rest of this catalyst here should be about enough for the rest of this paint here. I use the same stuff on the engine covers, so I'm just going to go for it right into this bottle here. And squeeze as much of this catalyst as I can get. Now I'm going to cap it again, get it nice and tight, shake it up really well, and then we are ready to paint. I got the front caliper already out on the cherry picker that we're going to be painting on, so let's go for it. Testing the settings, still a little dry. This one's easy. Alright guys, my footage through that stuff probably wasn't the best, but I got some of it. We always seem to be painting, cerakoting, whatever on the coldest day of the year, like today. It's freezing out here. The gun was starting to freeze up from just a little bit of air in the line. But anyway, these parts are all painted. Looks like they came out pretty good. So I'm gonna throw them in the oven at 300 degrees now for an hour. And once these parts get up to temperature, I'll give it about like 5 minutes, and then I will bump the timer back up to 60 so they get the full time. So I'll see you guys once these parts are done. Alright guys, these parts are finally done, and I think they came out pretty good as far as I can tell. This rear brake here is pretty much perfect, and kickstand thing is pretty good. You know, it's not super thick in the threads here, but that's okay. And right there, that little spot, I don't know if you guys can see it, must have got bumped when we were trying to get everything hung. The brake line holder mount for the triple clamp came out good. The rear brake clevis came out really good as well. These small parts were hard to do because they're kind of blowing around with the air from the paint gun. And this front brake here looks like it might have got bumped right there where we missed a little bit. This thing's still hot, by the way, and it's been outside in the cold air for like 30 minutes, and it's like 20 outside. And then I bumped it right here a little bit, and then right there, but it should be fine. It's aluminum, and we're probably not going to see that. The tape trick, pulling that stuff off before baking, worked really well. As you can see, both of these, looks like it was precision ground there after it was painted, but that was just how it baked on. But other than that, so this stuff looks good. So I'll get all the wires and plugs off, and then we can get a final look at these, and that'll probably be it for this video. Well guys, that's about it for this video. We got all the brake components that we're gonna cerakoted, along with a couple of these other miscellaneous parts, and it all turned out really good. Looks super cool. And yeah, next video we could throw this stuff back together. I need to do another order and get some stuff for this rear caliper. But that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.